My name is John Uebersax. My family's here in Paso. It's a wonderful place. So, welcome to the Tea Party of Paso Robles, which is the greatest city in the greatest state in the greatest country on this earth. It's your city. Now, why is education important for us and for the Tea Party movement? Now, my first thought was that we have to educate our opponents, these liberals or these people who are trying to destroy the country. And there's something to be said for that. We do have to educate everybody. And there's a lot of education that needs to go on in Washington these days. But when I thought about it, when I reflected, I realized that the first task of education is that we have to educate ourselves. And education is knowledge. Knowledge is power, and knowledge is confidence. And there's no greater power to change society than the power of a good example. And when you have knowledge, you've got the confidence to present yourself and live correctly. And all it takes is one good example for people to see, and they'll instinctively copy that good example. So we can talk about the bad politicians in Washington. Now, when you're younger, you look at these and see them as evil people. When you get old enough, you start to see these politicians as being younger than you. And you start to see that they just haven't had any good role models. And I think that's a lot of the problem right now. So we have to be those good role models. And we do it by educating ourselves. Now, another thought that occurs to me is in our national anthem, to turn off the television. It takes courage to pick up that book you've been meaning to read and actually struggle through the first page and first chapter. It's easy to talk about how ignorant your opponents are, but it's hard to teach yourself, to educate yourself. It takes work, and we don't sometimes talk about that enough. We're sitting here today across from the public library, the city library of Paso Robles. And you know, the public library is a fantastic institution. It's something we take for granted. Did you know that the man who invented the public library was Benjamin Franklin? You knew that. That's great. Same man who invented the volunteer fire department and the United States Postal Service. Before his time, there was no public library. So this library is one of the best kept secrets in the city. I went in, it got a library. Also, the library was founded by a grant from the great industrialist Andrew Carnegie, or Carnegie. Some people pronounce his name either way. But this great American industrialist, a self-made man, became a philanthropist. Oh, that's perfect. He went and traveled this country handing out funds in rural areas to allow people to set up libraries. So this illustrates a number of things, but it illustrates the vision of a man who was plugged into the American dream, planting the seeds for us to reap in future generations. Thank you. I would like to run down a list of my top 10 suggested patriotic books, or readings, some of which I was able to get at the library. Now, the first on my personal list is the Bible. Number 2 on my list of suggested readings is the Declaration of Independence. Don't just have it, read it, and read it slowly, and ponder what the words mean. And I'll just read this line from it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, we have these fine core values for the Tea Party movement, but we also have these fine core values, these profound issues that are presented in the Declaration of Independence. And each of these words is something to think about and meditate on. What is life? What is liberty? And what is the pursuit of happiness? Which causes us to ask the question, what is happiness? And I'll give you a hint. One thing happiness is not is money. And we hear the politicians talk about jobs. We hear them talk about the economy. Just once I'd like to hear them talk about happiness, because I think happiness is what it's all about. And if jobs bring us happiness, so be it. But jobs without happiness is not what we want. The Constitution, number 3. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States. That is so replete with meaning and fine, noble concepts. It just bears slow reading. Tranquility. What would it take for us to be tranquil? I don't know, but I'd like us all to think about that. I'd sure like to see what tranquility is, and I don't think we have it quite yet. I think it would involve something besides this constant fighting back and forth among the politicians. And while we're at it, Nora mentioned that we have, well, I guess I'm running out of time. When you get up here, the time flies very quickly. I'll just run through the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. A wonderful, I think the founding fathers were put here by our Lord for us to look back as examples, for us to reap the seeds and the fruits of the seeds in our time. The autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, a wonderful person. The life of Thomas Jefferson, number 5. I'm going to hold up these books now. This is the life of Thomas Jefferson. I got this from the library. Big, thick book, about 1,000 pages. The essays of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson was a transcendentalist. This is a philosophical movement. Transcendentalism is a school of thought, a philosophy committed to the idea that there's something higher than us, transcendental, and that there's a divine power guiding each one of our minds and guiding us all together. And this is a uniquely American branch of philosophy, homegrown. The Gettysburg Address, that a nation of a government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth. I'm going to wrap it up here with one of my personal favorites for young people. I'd really recommend, by John F. Kennedy, a book called PT 109. John Kennedy was a genuine war hero. He was on a patrol boat. It got, I guess, damaged by a Japanese destroyer, and the ship broke up, and John Kennedy was an expert swimmer, and he just about single-handedly towed all of his crew to safety. It's a marvelous story, inspiring. And one last one, I would just suggest any book by Ron Paul, because Ron Paul is a congressman now, and I think he's speaking some common sense. And I won't take it any more than that, because I see I'm running out of time. Thank you, and keep on reading.